Hello, Brad Schielke here at Conversations with Mormons. This is part 7 of Knowing My Enemy. Mormons are never my enemy. My only enemy is the father of the lie. Last week I mentioned that leniency is the liar's only tool and that he uses it to distract me from Jesus as all of life for me. We explored the meaning of Jesus' famous words, "Judge not that ye be not judged." Jesus basically says that I don't get to be your judge because the way I measure determines how the moral world measures back to me. He says that measuring my way puts a log in my eye and makes me a hypocrite and a wrecker of right relationships. Jesus not only says that measuring by moral flawlessness is God's way to see clearly, he even goes so far as to guarantee that with leniency out of our eye, we will see clearly to help others deal with their issues. Isn't that what we all want? To see life clearly and help ourselves and others in a way that actually works? Leniency means lowering and cheapening moral standards. Leniency is always the log in our eye. Always. There's a surprise in Jesus' words. To not judge others doesn't mean to turn our mind off, or to pretend evil doesn't matter, or to pretend that good behavior doesn't matter. It means to not judge my way and instead trust God's good evaluation of the issue at hand. His righteousness or right relationships is written on the human soul. To trust God's way means to see the issue God's way, which gives us God's mind about evil. This not only gives us clear sight, it also fills us with compassion, which moves us to treat others in good ways. This isn't automatic because we all tend to suppress the goodness written in our soul. Leniency is like a license to do evil. The Apostle Peter writes that the only reason a Christian is lazy or unfruitful is forgetfulness of cleansing from sin. Cleansing from sin is all about Jesus, the only flawless person, dying in your place to put away all your sin, as well as all the sin of every person you get impatient with. Ponder that a moment. You don't sin because you want to sin. You sin because in that moment you saw life through leniency, the liar's license to sin. It's good not to do evil, and certainly God doesn't want us to do evil. Since God is the source of all moral goodness, He's responsible to provide a good way for us to succeed at not doing evil. Jesus said He Himself is that way. When we see life through the simplicity and purity of Christ, we love others and do good to them. We don't do evil to them. This is the huge surprise in my style of conversation with Mormons. Every human, including you and me, is born seeing life through leniency, through the liar's license to sin. This means that we're trusting leniency as good instead of trusting that goodness requires moral flawlessness, which is found only in Jesus. We all do this because we all tend to suppress God's goodness and righteousness written in our souls. My questions invite Mormons to self-reflect on the goodness they know intuitively but are suppressing. Since we all tend to do this, I don't point the finger at them. I point the finger at myself and welcome them to join me on the journey of self-honesty into God's goodness revealed in Jesus as the source of all good relationships. My questions lead them to notice the relationship-wrecking power of leniency, of the liar's license to sin. Mormons express significant surprise at hearing themselves say they should have measured by Jesus and not cheapened the standards. This intrigues them to converse further. Recently, a woman stepped into Oasis, said she was done with Mormonism, and wanted books on Christianity. Instead, I gave her conversation. She experienced surprise after surprise as she noticed how Jesus was all she needed for each point we discussed. At the end, I asked if she memorized as a kid that Jesus died to take care of all her sins. She said she learned that in primary, which is their version of Sunday school. Did they teach her to trust that Jesus died to take care of all her sins? No, they didn't teach her to trust that. They taught her to try to be a good person. I urged her to trust what she memorized years earlier. I prayed with her and she may have become a Christian. My goal is to sensitize Mormons to the evil of leniency, to the liar's license to sin, so as to lead them to abandon their own righteousness and trust Jesus' sin-bearing death as all of life for them. Next week, we'll move on to a new topic of how I follow the Apostle Paul's lead in opening eyes to life. Until then, why not join me in thanking God for sending Jesus Christ to die in your place to free you from the license to sin you were born with? Welcome to the conversation.